The final round of the championship brings us here to Mallory Park in Leicestershire, as on Thundersport Plus we bring you footage from the Bike Sport News Superstock 600 class, where Tommy Mountain and Nick Anderson are separated by just 2 points. Welcome to Thundersport Plus.
Welcome to Mallory Park in Leicestershire. This is Thundersport Plus for the last time in 2011, where we highlight one of the great championships on the Thundersport GB bill. It is the turn of the Bike Sport News Superstock 600s, and it really is a championship coming down to the wire. It literally couldn't be closer. The bikes are on the grid, and Steve's waiting for them.
So the first race in Thundersport Plus, the Bike Sport News Superstock 600s and 111. Joe Collier, who was flying yesterday, looks to get another 25 points in Superstock 600. Still missing second position, but it's really all about these two men in third and fourth, Nick Anderson and Tommy Mountain. 2 points separates the pair of them in this championship on the final day. We caught up with them a bit earlier on. Tommy Mountain, 2 points championship leader. There's not a lot in it, but going down to the final two races here, it's quite clear what you need to do.
Yes, I just need to beat one person really. It's Nick. You know, I've got a lot of fast people here this weekend. It's not going to make it easy to win or finish in front of Nick. I mean, you've got Joe Collier and James East there. They're real fast riders, so we've just got to see what we'll do. Just keep my head and try and finish in front of Nick.
Obviously, you got to get a good start. Yesterday, you got held back a little bit. You were held behind Tom Meehan and 3 or 4 riders. Was that frustrating for you? It
was frustrating. I actually made a couple of mistakes. My own fault, I admit it. Yeah, it took me a few laps to get past all the riders, but I thought once going to my rhythm, once got past him, I was catching up with Nick, and well, he just beat me. So it's pretty close to these last 2 races today. So we'll see what happens.
Nick Anderson, a long season has come down to the final day of the year. 2 points behind Tommy Mountain. A good day for you yesterday. It's quite clear what you have to do. Go out there and just beat Tommy, eh?
Yeah, as long as I stay in front of him, it'll all be good. I mean, yesterday that was a plan and it worked out. So today, as long as I stay ahead of him, we'll get our hands on the championship. So fingers crossed.
Joe Collier is obviously up at the front. He was flying yesterday. James East is going to get his nose in. There's a number of riders that could affect the championship overall. I mean, have you got a pit board with Tommy's name on it?
No, we haven't actually. I'll just usual pit board signals and stuff. Just let the guys, like Joe Collier is unbelievable around here, fair play. Just let him do his thing and I'll do mine, and just make sure I stay ahead of Tommy.
And after an up and down year, you've been through some highs and some lows. How much would it mean to wrap up the championship here today?
Oh, it means so much, not only to me, but to the sponsors, my family, everyone who's out this year. It means a lot. So hopefully we'll do it. We'll see what happens.
Good luck, Nick.
Thank you very much.
Oh, great stuff from 2 really excellent young riders. The tension is palpable. 2 points in it, 2 races to go. I'm not going to ask you who your money's on, Steve, because they are off and running. It couldn't be closer, and it's been like this all season.
Yes, and as they get away from the line, Nick Anderson, number 47, really does get off the line well. He's one of the riders that just has the knack off the line to be able to get it into turn 1 first. There he is, number 47. He leads ahead of Joe Collier, 111, but 111 up into the lead, following suit Cooper. Michael Cooper there, who's had a great weekend, goes up into third ahead of Tommy Mountain, but it has been very close, as you say. Tommy Mountain has the more wins, but Nick Anderson has been oh so consistent.
Yeah, Joe Collier, well, we could all had a huge amount of stake. He had to break it the hairpin there, but Joe Collier, I think, frankly, in the parlance, he owns this circuit. He just looks absolutely unstoppable here. He's been brilliant all weekend, and look, he continues to do so as they come down.
Oh, rider down to the background there, Robin.
I think that was Rory Parker, wasn't it, over from the Isle of Man, but I can see from where we are, he is up and okay, which is the good news. But Steve, I think in these early stages with the 2 races to go, we should mention, as it were, the rider who's not going to be part of the mix. It's such a shame, but he's been right at the top of the championship all year, the young man from Scotland, Paul Wishart.
Yeah, Paul came into the event locked on points with Nick Anderson, but unfortunately he broke his wrist back at Alton Park. So he's sitting on pit wall watching this one unfold. Hats off to Paul. He's been a great competitor all year, considering he's not even seen any of the English or Welsh circuits. But it is now just down to 2 riders as we look at Tom Meehan there, number 33, ahead of Matt Shelcock.
Yes, Matt Shelcock, another of the great improvers, had a wonderful racing day up at Alton Park. There he is, chasing after Tom Meehan, just at the back of that leading group. But in amongst our regular runners, we've got a number of very quick riders. We know, of course, about Joe Collier. You mentioned Michael Cooper there, but it's lovely to see the likes of Curtis Wright out there, and also returning to Thundersport GB, Danny Murphy.
Yeah, Danny's not had the best of qualifying sessions. He's not got away from the line so well, but he's a very quick rider, and the young man from Rochdale may well be attending quite a few of these rounds next year, so we look forward to seeing him. There's Curtis Wright, a former GP3 contender, up there just ahead of Tom Meehan, but it's still Joe Collier that leads. Good news for Nick Anderson, who's second in the championship. He's in second, but Tommy Mountain moves up into 3rd place. He's finally got his way past Michael Cooper, and maybe, just maybe, we've got a bit of a championship fight on our hands now.
Yes, Nick Anderson in 2nd place, then Tommy Mountain on that Kun Cow Yamaha, the yellow, substantially yellow, but with a blue stripe. I think there he is in 3rd place now. So the 2 guys really up the top of the championship in 2nd and 3rd. That is the battle within this race. Meanwhile, 1-1-1, Joe Collier out the front, leading handsomely. There he is.
Yeah, Joe Collier's away with this one. He absolutely obliterated the lap record here yesterday, and he's on similar pace now. Michael Cooper wants in on the action here in 4th position. Nick Anderson in 2nd. Well, if he wasn't aware of whereabouts Tommy Mountain was, he will be shortly. There's Matt Shelcock just ahead of Tom Meehan, the GTE Hornsey sponsored rider, and Curtis Wright.
Yes, a superb little 3-way battle that's developing into. They are swapping positions, as you say. Matt Shelcock just getting to the head of that queue, but it's meant that they've dropped away from this, which is the main battle at the front. Joe Collier is gone, but in this little group we have the main battle for the championship. There's Joe Collier out on his own, and you occasionally get this, don't you, Steve? A rider who really takes to a particular circuit. It doesn't mean they're not quick elsewhere, but sometimes it just gels and they seem almost unbeatable. And Collier, well, he's only a youngster, but he certainly seems to have this Leicestershire circuit nailed.
Yes, when we came to Mallory Park earlier on in the summer, he attended the round and nicked a couple of wins on that day as well. He really does go very well around this circuit, but it's that battle behind that is for the championship. Number 11, the yellow and blue machine of Tommy Mountain, leads in the championship by 2 points, but is behind Nick on circuit. There's 1-1-1, the race leader on the Triumph, Joe Collier, former Super Teen, also a former British Supermoto champion at schoolboy level.
He's away with this. He's under the Jordan Road surfacing bridge down into Gerrard's just as Nick Anderson and Tommy Mountain are approaching the start-finish line. That's the amount of lead that he's got. Very stylish too, untroubled out the front. All Joe really has to do is keep his head down and concentrate, really. Nobody to play with. He's got a few to lap, but this is where the tension lies. Nick Anderson in 2nd place, Tommy Mountain in 3rd. Tommy Mountain coming into this race, remember, with a 2-point advantage. At the moment, if the result was exactly as we see before us now, then Nick Anderson would move into the lead of the championship by 2 points.
Yes, he needs to stay ahead because, of course, if Tommy Mountain is to get out ahead of him, as we see the last lap flag, then it would be 6 points the advantage for Tommy Mountain, and that would mean that Nick would have to get another rider in between himself and Tommy in the final race. Collier takes to Gerrard for the final time, but what's going to happen between Tommy Mountain and Nick Anderson in 2nd and 3rd, a bit further behind? Can we just see a glimpse of them? Not quite. Collier goes into Edwinas for the last time. Who's going to grab 2nd, and who's going to be in the lead of the championship with 1 to go?
Well, it's certainly still game on. I can see that Michael Cooper is still behind them in 4th place, and there's that lovely battle at Tom Meehan. I think probably just getting advantage of Matt Shelcock back there, but out the front, well, it is Joe Collier on his own, but we need to see that battle for 2nd. Here comes Joe. It's been a lovely ride from him. Fastest lap of the race yet again. And that is a stunning run to the checkered flag. But It's all about what happens behind him, and there's Tommy Mountain. Tommy Mountain has just snuck up ahead of Nick Anderson, and that means it's advantage Tommy Mountain going into the final race. As you say, Steve, it's now that 2 points has grown to 6, and well, at least you could say the two of them know what they've got to do with one more race of 2011 left. Joe Collier, quite rightly, takes the congratulations for an excellent win. But Tommy Mountain, an important second. Nick Anderson third, Michael Cooper fourth, Tom Meehan fifth, and Matt Shelcock sixth. And there we see Joe Collier between Tommy Mountain and Nick Anderson.
Well, there are championships to be won, but your leap years ahead of everyone there. Joe Collier, fantastic racing. You must enjoy that.
Oh, it was a mega race. It's just when Nick beat me at the start, I didn't think we was going to get it, but then we got it and just made a little bit of a lead. And
what is it about this place that makes you run so well? You had a good result here earlier on in the summer also.
I don't know, I just gel with the track and think we've got the settings right.
And anyone to thank at all, Joe?
Yeah, my dad at MC Motors, and a big thanks to Stephen Priestnell at Triumph World for supplying us the bike this year.
Well, the championship is still on a knife edge. We'll take a short break and be back with Thundersport Plus.
Just grabbed a quick word with Paul Wishart. Paul, commiserations on the broken wrist. Of course, you could have won the championship this weekend. It must be pretty cruel, and it must hurt to sit on the sidelines and watch this.
Yeah, it does, but like it's racing and it's the way it goes. Don't mind supporting the other racers and that, so just have to settle for third in the championship and clap my hands at everyone else going round. So
it's going down to the final race now between Nick Anderson and Tommy Mountain. Who's your money on?
It's got to be. Well, I wouldn't like to say it's a hard one to choose for. They're both two determined riders. It could go either way.
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us, and I hope you mend soon.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers.
Number 111, Joe Collier, looking for a double victory here. The final race of the year in the BSN Superstock 600s. The wind's picked up a bit, but we're still dry. James East here, second position on the grid, but once again, it's down to this race here. 47, Nick Anderson, and number 11, Tommy Mountain. 6 points the difference in the championship. Robin, should be a cracker.
Yes, absolutely, Steve. Well, we await it with bated breath, the Bike Sport News Superstock 600 finale. It almost seems cruel that at the end of a season of really, really hard racing, that it comes down to such slender margins, just the 6 points in it. There are so many permutations that we're not going to call it. We're just going to enjoy what happens now as away they go. And Joe Collier, as he has done in each of the races this weekend, gets away well at the start. And hard to see him being headed in the form he's in, Steve.
Yeah, let's see if he can win this one by light years and not leap years, shall we? In second position there, James East has got himself up ahead of Nick Anderson, but Anderson there, squeezes through, and that was brave stuff, considering this is the last race of the year. Tommy Mountain has got himself away reasonably well. He's up into fourth place.
Yes, that is a much better start for Tommy this time round, isn't it? And he's looking at James East on the inside as they run up into that tight Shaw's hairpin. And, well, we're going to have to wait, and he's done it. He's through into third place. So once again, Steve, we have Joe Collier at the front, but our two main championship protagonists, second and third.
Yes, and Tommy Mountain knows that with a 6 point advantage, all he has to do is follow Nick Anderson home across the line to be crowned champion. It sounds a lot easier than it actually is going to be for him, but the Cool Cow sponsored rider has got James East for company there. He may have just got past him, but East is now coming up into the slipstream, is he?
He was having a good think about it, wasn't he? But he's not going to get through this time. And we can see just behind him, I think that's Michael Cooper with Tom Meehan all around his ears as they run out of Ebwenas and up through the John Cooper chicane. And look at this, it is amazing the way Joe Collier seems to have this ability to get away from the pack at will around this circuit.
Yes, James East there really is going to put some pressure on. Can he have a part to play? Joe Collier is away with it. Nick Anderson now in second position, still just ahead of Tommy Mountain. And what a showdown this would be. Of course, with 6 points as if it was to finish like this. Oh, we've got red flags.
Yeah, I tell you what, Steve, that was a brilliant spot by Tommy Mountain, right in the thick of the battle, and the championship battle at that. And he spotted those red flags immediately and raised his arm. And so the race will be called to a halt for now.
Well, as you can see, that race stopped due to an incident out on circuit. The two championship protagonists still in the hunt. So keep your eyes out for 47, Nick Anderson, and series leader, number 11, Tommy Mountain.
Well, thanks for that, Steve. Yes, it will be a completely new race. This will be over 11 laps. So I don't know whether that lessens the tension or ratchets it up. I think it ratchets it up because they don't have quite as long to get used to it. Now then, here we go. Another start they've got to get their heads round, and not so good for Tommy Mountain this time. Brilliant, though, once again for Joe Collier. And Nick Anderson up there in second.
Yeah, Nick Anderson got away well. He's in second position. Tommy Mountain, meanwhile, just got squeezed out by Tom Meehan, number 33 there, into turn 1. And look at that. What is he back in 6th or 7th position? It's Collier that leads him. Tommy Mountain is going straight on. And he's taken out Michael Cooper.
Yes, it appeared that Michael just tagged him as Tommy lost it under braking there. And he's gone through the safety runoff at Edwina's there, and he's continued. Shame, of course, for Cooper, but Tommy Mountain has stayed on board, but he has dropped down. Well, I don't know, I'm going to have to count him across the line, but I think he's 15th or 16th, Steve.
Yeah, I think he might be 11th, 12th, he might just be inside that, but he's a lucky boy to escape that and still be out on circuit. Boy, oh boy, has he got some work on his hands now. Nick Anderson, well, he won't have a clue what's gone on behind. He's just going to try and finish in second position. He can't really decide what goes on behind, as James East there is now in 3rd position, Curtis Wright 4th, Tommy in 5th, Matt Shelcock in 6th, and Tommy just inside the top 10, is he?
Well, you'd have to say, Steve, in a shortened race, just 11 laps now, really, Tommy Mountain's championship chances must be history. Well, frankly, there he goes, picking up a position at Shaw's. All he can do from now, I suppose, is just look at it as a banzai sprint race and just give it beans. But Nick Anderson is such a calm, cool and collected rider once he's out there, and he's up in a good, safe second place. But Mountain, well, he may have a mountain to climb, but let's face it, he's also got very little to lose.
There's Jodie Chalk. Rapid improvements from Jodie this season, and we'll be seeing more of her in 2012 at the front. Joe Collier leads. Nick Anderson is in 2nd. James East 3rd. Curtis Wright in 4th. Oh, a little bit of a moment there. Tommy Mountain going through the pack like a knife through butter. He is, I would imagine, there's a little bit of red mist there.
Yeah, more than a little. But look what he's got ahead of him. I mean, we're not just talking about a pack of riders, but very, very quick young riders indeed have been at it all the way through this championship throughout the year. It's been terribly competitive. I think we've had 7 or 8 different race winners this year, Steve. Out the front, meanwhile, we mustn't forget, as we see Nick Anderson there, who at the moment looks as though he's sitting pretty in championship terms. Out the front, still Joe Collier.
Yeah, although Nick Anderson has dropped down a place just behind James East. So it's 16 points currently for Nick Anderson. Leg out Rossi style as they make the way into Edwina's. Where is Tommy Mountain? There's Curtis Wright, and Tommy Mountain has made up another couple of positions.
Goodness me, well, not just an absolutely inspired ride from Tommy Mountain, but as you say, James East getting past Nick Anderson is going to knock the possible points gain for Nick Anderson. Tommy Mountain picks up another place there. He moves up the inside into Shaw's, and he gets past Curtis Wright, and now he's got nothing but open road between himself and his championship. Look, there he is, his championship rival, Nick Anderson in 3rd. It's Tommy Mountain in 4th.
Well, you would have thought that this was impossible a couple of laps ago. He's come up from nowhere, Tommy Mountain, after that first lap incident from the restart. At the moment, if the checkered flag was to go out, Tommy Mountain, remarkably, would be crowned the champion. As Nick Anderson there, well, has he just found out what's gone on behind him? Because he's just gone up the inside of James East and moves up to 2nd position. A shake of the head there from East.
That could be a championship winning moment. You never know. This is the most extraordinary season. We've seen loads of championships this year coming down to the wire, but this wire is very taut indeed. there's Joe Collier out the front, comfortably unaware of what's going on behind. He's away with this one, but he is having an important effect on the championship because he's taking winners' points.
He is, yes, and Nick Anderson now has one final lap. Having moved up to second position, that means he would have 7 more points than Tommy Mountain. That would result in him winning the championship by a single point. The number 47 rider has to stay on board. You can see him in the background just going through the S's whilst Joe Collier deals with Shaw's.
Well, he is clear at the moment of James East in 3rd, but Tommy Mountain in 4th. Well, Tommy needs to get past James East. He can't rely on Eastie getting ahead of Nick Anderson. Checker flag is out though. That's another great win for Joe Collier's team.
Superb stuff, but in the background, let's see. Nick Anderson's definitely got 2nd, James East 3rd, and Nick Anderson has won the championship by a single point. He looks behind, and now he knows.
If it ain't yellow, it ain't gonna be in my way. Joe Collier takes a wonderful win. Nick Anderson wins the championship. James East 3rd, Tommy Mountain a brilliant 4th in the end. Curtis Wright 5th, Matt Shelcock 6th, and there's Joe Collier, champion Nick Anderson and James East on the podium. Nick Anderson then confirmed as champion by 1 point from Tommy Mountain, and a brilliant Paul Whittart in 3rd place.
Tommy Mountain, runner-up for 2011. I'm sure you're gutted, but you put in a good effort there. Tell us about the race, because it went wrong all at the start, didn't it?
Yeah, it sort of went start. It went wrong at the start. Maybe a bit of pressure or something, I don't know, but just sort of ran out headway in the chicane. I couldn't really stop it, but yeah, it's not too bad.
And obviously you haven't raced in every single race this season, but you've won quite a few races. I mean, were you aware at the point when you crossed the line that it had gone or not?
No, not really. To be fair, our objective this year wasn't really to win it. But, I mean, fair dues to Nick. I mean, we missed 2 rounds at the start of the year. I'm sure we would have been sort of more up there, a better chance of winning the championship if we did them 2 rounds at the beginning of the year. But it's fair play to Nick. He's rid well all year and consistent, and he deserves it. Well done to Nick.
And you must have a few people to thank for your season.
Oh yeah, I've got loads of people to thank. Got a Cool Cow, Cool Milk, which is John Thorns, Julie Bruntlett. Thanks for all of their help. For this season, I wouldn't be racing if it weren't for them, really. Massive thanks to Andy Stubbs and Bert Corrigan, and obviously massive thanks to my dad, Andrew Scud. I couldn't do it for them, but fair play, and yeah.
Okay, well done and hard luck.
All right, thank you. Cheers.
2nd in that race for the new champion of 2011, Nick Anderson. You certainly know how to keep your team tense on pit wall. I've never seen anything like it.
Oh no, tell me about it. It was mega. They've done a real good job at performance racing, just for trying to keep my head cool and stuff, because obviously there's a lot of pressure and stuff that goes on in racing. I just really wanted to get the championship, and to do it like that and win it by a single point, it's just mega. I can't believe it.
Did you know when you went past James East, I mean, were you aware of where Tommy was at all or not?
Yeah, for that, we'd taken on your little tip, and we got a little method on the pit board there, just telling me where Tommy was, and I knew if I'd finished 2nd and Tommy was 4th, then I'd win it. And yeah, as soon as I saw Tommy was 4th, I just had to put that move in on James, and luckily it paid off, and I held it to the end, so over the moon.
Yeah, it must feel really great. I mean, there's a big team effort put in throughout the whole year. So start the thank yous.
Oh, massive thanks to Griff and Sharon at Aprilia Performance in Tamworth. They've been unbelievable this year. My dad at NMA Flooring, Jay at JGM Joinery, my mum, HRS Designs, A1 Leisure. I'm sure there's many more people I'm going to be thanking, but they're all I can remember. I'm just blown away, to be honest. It's an awesome feeling.
Well, you've been with us since the Aprilia Super Teens. It's been great having you with us. You are the champion. Go and celebrate.
Thank you very much, Steve.
A whole season's racing then, and the championship coming down to just 1 point. From myself, Robin Murphy, and from Steve Day, that's it from Thundersport Plus.